Cordelia Hatmaker was following a star. The North Star hung above the dark jostle of nighttime London, just out of reach, but never out of sight. Even the smudges of smoke rising from the city's chimneys could not dim Polaris's brightness. Cordelia felt like she was trying to catch a song in her hand. She had followed the star from her home, Hatmaker House on Wimpole Street, to the wharves near St. Catherine's by the Tower. All around her, sea-going galleons creaked and swayed in their sleep, rigging like black lace against the sky. In the lapping waters of the River Thames, Polaris's reflection gleamed like a coin dropped to the bottom. And on the map in Cordelia's hands, the same star winked at her in silver ink. Between the three versions of the same star, Cordelia could feel a secret being whispered in a language she didn't speak. "Where am I meant to go next?" she asked in plain English. It was not the first time she'd asked that question, and not the first time the North Star had simply twinkled mysteriously down at her in reply. But it was the first time that a guttural voice rasped from the dark.
"Pretty bit of treasure you got there, missy."
A shadow lurched towards her. Cordelia sprang back, almost toppling off the quay. A hand shot out. She was jerked forward. Suddenly a snarling mouth was an inch from her nose.
"Gimme it."
Cordelia gagged as stale ale breath wafted into her face. It was a sailor, stinking of drink, his yellow teeth bared in a grin. He was so close, the bristles of his beard scratched her chin. Ugh! She tried to push past him, but he grabbed her arm.
"Gimme that,"
he slurred. "It's just a bit of paper," Cordelia gasped, flapping the map. "It isn't worth anything." She was lying. The map was one of the most valuable things she owned. Although she hadn't yet worked out what it was a map of, she knew that maps generally led to treasure. In this case, she hoped that the treasure it led to was her father. Captain Hatmaker had hidden the map inside a telescope as his ship was sinking and given it to a cabin boy, Jack Fortescue, the only known survivor of the shipwreck. "For you, from him," the wreck-shocked Jack had whispered as he'd handed Cordelia the telescope. The Jolly Bonnet had sunk almost 2 months ago, and Cordelia's father had disappeared with it. Most of the Hatmaker family believed he had gone down with his ship, but Cordelia would not, could not, believe it. It had taken Cordelia several days to find what looked like a blank piece of paper hidden inside the telescope. And it had taken her several more days to discover that it was actually a map, drawn in ink that could only be read by starlight. This discovery had made her even more determined. Her father was alive, and he needed her help. But the map was very puzzling. For a start, normal maps had helpful place names on them. This map showed a circus with 8 roads leading off it, surrounded by a maze of lanes, but none of them was named. Thames was the only place name on the entire map, and it was surrounded by little swirls of silver ink to symbolize the river, with an X marked just beside it in the bottom right corner. In the crook of the opposite lane, cutting across the corner, there was a tiny drawing of a face with wide eyes, a curly beard, and wisps of wind blowing out of his round mouth. The North Wind. Beside him, Polaris glimmered at the tip of the Ursa Minor constellation. At least she knew that the Thames was the right river, but it was miles long, and though Cordelia had been methodical in her search, she had started at Westminster Bridge and worked her way slowly eastwards, keeping the North Star in view at all times. She had found no sign of the circus, nor the crook in a lane where the north wind blew. Westwards, the Thames stretched all the way to Oxford. Eastwards, it went all the way to the sea. Finding the place she was looking for would take years at this rate. There was also a riddle, written in curling letters around the edge of the paper. At the sign of the Rose and Sea runs the fast river secret beneath. Face the north wind and follow him south. There you'll find the hidden mouth.